Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nexus where we spotlight some of our favorite local businesses. I'm super excited. Today we have Brayden McLaughlin here. He's with Bridgewater Consulting. He's the owner and principal designer for them. Wears many hats, and I'm really excited for you to get to know what he does and hear all about his background. So welcome to the show, Brayden.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. You did this on short notice, so I really appreciate it.
Well, we're nothing if not flexible. So
yeah.
Anything we can do.
That's a good sign for the customers. So, well, we met when you were interested in looking at doing a website, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Tell us a little bit about like your background and where you grew up and how you got here.
So I was actually born and raised here in Lincoln, studied architecture at University of Nebraska, and then moved out to Cincinnati, Ohio for my master's. I got my master's in community planning. And I had worked some government jobs for a few years, and back in 2013, 2014, I was starting to realize I really missed a lot of design work, and so I had started kind of sending out feelers with some architecture firms, just trying to see maybe I can get a job. And a lot of the work that I had done, they were pretty impressed with, and they said, hey, we just don't do this, we don't do this, could we have you on retainer for a while, or can you work a little freelance stuff? And so all of a sudden I ended up having about 6 months worth of work with projects with different firms, and 6 months turned into 8 years, and it was odd because I never really set out to start my own business. It just kind of happened.
And then the repeat business kind of just kept coming.
Yeah, and it's just like people just kind of kept coming back, and I was building this client base without realizing I was building a client base.
Yeah.
Just kind of doing what I loved, and it sort of became kind of this self-sustaining thing, and that's kind of how Bridgewater was born. So
yeah, I mean, I think your work ethic goes to show that this is how it came to a success, because you've been working full-time, a full-time career, and doing this on the side for long time, and it's growing, and it's turning into something really amazing. So how many employees do you have now?
So we have 6 total. So there's me, we have Kayla, Alex, Josh, Alyssa, and Courtney, and the nice thing with everyone is everyone kind of brings something unique to the table. Alex is a draftsman. He also does some work for Kawasaki. Kayla actually owns her own interior design business, K-Stock Design, and she does a lot of our architecture design and interior design. It just kind of depends on what the project is, what everybody kind of works on, and but it's been a good team.
Do you all collaborate on the projects? Or
yes and no. Sometimes I might put one of my team members on one project, and they might kind of take it kind of all the way through from start to finish, or I might have one member kind of start off on like the 3D modeling, and then another member might kind of take over, like working on the actual plans. It just kind of depends on what the project is, and we do really all kinds of things. Our bread and butter is really custom homes. But we do a lot of home renovations. We do a lot of additions, like basement finishings. We've got 3 custom homes going on right now. We've got a home restoration up in Havelock we're doing. That's a 1929 Craftsman home. We're kind of it's a mess, but it'll be beautiful when it gets done.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of small projects like bathroom designs and master suites and things. But
so it doesn't have to be like a full house or a full new business. It can be like just a portion of your house.
Yeah, so. we've done a lot of like commercial interiors, and we've done a lot of just like sunrooms and just things like that. We've done we're doing a couple of garages right now. It's kind of a lot of things. There's really not a whole lot we haven't done.
Yeah.
But it's all been fun because every project is unique. We really love it.
Yeah, and I think like the custom design is so cool, right? Like, everyone that's tuned in should definitely go check out his website. Your work's gorgeous, and we had the pleasure of getting to showcase it in your website. Lots of amazing pictures, and tell us a little bit about your experience working with the team here at True North.
It was fantastic, really. I had somebody recommend you, and from the minute we sat down and started working on the website, never read it for a minute, and Dylan and Alex and everybody has just been so easy to work with, and they were just so flexible. And I think the thing that I really valued as a designer is they took my ideas for the website and they were able to just kind of implement it flawlessly. And that's a big deal for me, because to have somebody just really kind of listen, because that's my job, just like listen to what the client wants and how are we actually going to like pull this off, what it's going to look like. And to have you guys come up with something we were really, really pleased with. We're just very satisfied, and we really appreciate all the hard work you did. It looked great. I still have contractors telling me how great our website is. So
hey, that is awesome. I'm super glad to hear that. And yeah, and we like to help you keep it up to date and keep it looking fresh and new too. So, send us all those new designs.
That reminds me, I probably have a whole truckload of photos I've got to send you.
Do that. This is a great reminder.
I'll add it to my to-do list along with everything
all
else.
our other clients, send us pictures. Let's keep your websites up to date. Tell me about maybe just like one of your favorite projects that you worked on. Maybe it was kind of a challenge or something, and how you worked through that.
Every single one has unique challenges, especially the remodels, because anytime you're digging into an existing house, you almost always find something.
What are you going to uncover?
Yeah.
What do you not know about behind those
DIY
walls?
stuff is going on behind the drywall and everything. And a lot of those.
I'm sure the Havelock house is going to be a DC.
Yeah, that one's pretty much there. We're going to strip that thing down to the studs. But a lot of them, the fun thing with the challenge is trying to figure out, okay, so if we're adding on or we're remodeling, how do we take this space and how do we make it something new and dynamic that the client's going to love and they're going to be able to actually enjoy living in and being in? Because at the end of the day, one of the reasons why this work is so satisfying for me is we are designing spaces where people live their lives. I mean, they come home and they make their memories and they open their Christmas presents and they blow out their birthday candles, and this is the area that is
all
what
the
they think of as
memories,
home,
the nucleus of the kids' childhood and everything. I have my dad was a builder, but he was basically a self-taught architect. I don't know if I've ever told you that.
Yes, I did not know that.
Yeah, so I remember a lot of times just my dad sitting at the kitchen table, sketching out blueprints or making edits to blueprints while he was talking to a homeowner that was in the process of building. And some of the greatest things that I heard at his funeral was just every time we look at the fireplace in our house, we think of your father, and you're getting to create those lasting pieces of people's history. And a home is so it's even just emotional for people to sell a home later, because they've made all those memories there. So it's really cool that you get to be a part of it, and you take that to heart and consider that when you're doing the drawing.
It's just a very rewarding experience, and it's so emotional and personal to just kind of be a part of someone's future, just not physically there, but just the physical surroundings that you've designed for them. It's
and like you said, you've heard what they want to do in the space and design it so that it functions that way and they get to enjoy it. So that's awesome. Tell me a little bit about maybe somebody that's been sort of a mentor to you along the way, or maybe just somebody that you admire in the way that they've done business.
A lot of my past professors and teachers and things have all kind of been a big influence on me. People in the past and even people currently now, because you never really stop learning. And so there's probably phases where I can remember a professor here, or just people I've kind of helped with. I like Bruce Bailey with Design Associates, Jeff Bielenberg with Bielenberg Builders. A lot of these guys have just kind of been helping me along over the years. And at E&A Consulting too, Kyle Hasse, Jason Thielen, they have been a huge help with me and my professional growth and my professional career and everything. But even just a lot of the contractors that I've talked to and kind of done a lot of work with, Troy Bridgeford at Ironhide's another one. Just having those relationships where it's just like you can bounce something off someone and they can kind of hey, I've done this before, or I've worked with this, and let's talk and we can.
They've been in that space, maybe seen the same kind of problem you're encountering, and they're like, this is how we navigated it. I'm glad you threw out a few names of builders in the area, because I didn't want to put you on the spot, but I did want to put you on the spot and see if you had any favorites. So I'm not going to say that those are your favorites, but you did mention them.
We do a lot of work with quite a few. Bielenberg Builders has been one. Ironhide's been another one. New Haven's been another one. We actually used to do a lot of work with NeighborWorks.
Okay.
That was kind of one of the areas where we cut our teeth with, was some of the affordable housing, and that's
cool.
always kind of been like a little soft spot.
I
in
love
my heart.
what NeighborWorks does. That's cool that you got to be a part of those.
Well, it's fun too, because we're able to kind of design what I call clever imposters, where you might have a street where all the houses were built in the 1920s, and you don't want to just come in and put something that looks like it belongs in like 2020.
Sure.
And trying to do all that and getting to know all the contractors and everybody that way. It's been
to get those little
experience.
details.
Yeah.
That's cool. You told me a really great story when we first met about when you were in college, and it was like a project that you were working on. What was that?
So this was actually how we came up with the name for the company. So,
this is it. Yes.
Yeah,
okay, great. Let's hear it.
Back when I was in school at Nebraska, we had to do an architecture project where you took a four-way intersection. You had to design a building on each corner, and you had to just kind of see how the buildings kind of interacted with each other, just as sort of like a visual feel, and just kind of being aware of like the urban landscape and stuff.
Practical application. What you're learning. Okay.
So me being a nerd, I enjoyed that project so much.
I mean,
that
he said it, not me.
So what I did is I took that and ran with it and designed like a whole downtown on the computers digitally and everything, and basically designed a whole metropolitan area from scratch and designed all the little buildings, every single thing. And what
like you went like way above and beyond.
It just went from project to a hobby. And so back in 2014, when I was talking to some of these architecture firms, I had put some of this city project in the portfolio, and they were like, wow, this is fantastic. Like, did you do this? And they were like, what was this project called? And I had named the city Bridgewater, just because it was like, well, that kind of sounds like a good name for a city.
It's a beautiful name. I love it.
So when I was thinking about what to call the company, I just, McLaughlin, blah, 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 just nothing ever really stuck. So I thought about that, and the name stuck. So
I love it. That's such a great story.
And we actually kind of have it in our logo. Like, if you look at it, there's kind of three buildings kind of on the corner, kind of like alluding to the past where the company kind of came from. So it's a little hidden.
Oh man, you're really like hitting a sweet spot for me on a great story behind a logo. I mean, you heard it here first. I mean, this is like exactly what we kind of talk to our clients about, especially like in a branding project. It's like, what's the history? How'd you get here? Like, or where do you want to go? Maybe your logo should be indicative of the future too. So, such a great story. Another thing I like to ask a lot of my guests is, tell me a favorite book that you've read.
Favorite book that I've read? Oh boy, I read a lot of kind of historical nonfiction. I think the last one I had read was Band of Brothers from Stephen Ambrose. So if you've seen the HBO miniseries, this is the book that they wrote the series based on. So a lot of really
that'd be pretty
stories.
Intense too.
It was like just all the details about all this stuff that these guys went through, and just having no idea how lucky we are that they made these sacrifices. Just so we have the freedom.
And the stories of heroism and leadership and determination, whatever, like there's a lot of amazing books that have come from war times.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else our guests should know about you, Brayden?
I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of on the spot with that one.
He's Irish, and he really likes St. Patrick's Day.
Now everyone's going to think I'm just a drunk.
On St. Patrick's Day. Don't ask him to do anything.
Well, my wife and I
specific.
we did go to Ireland for our honeymoon, so we do love Ireland a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of my wife, she actually is a small business owner too. She owns Flights and Bites, which is a little cookie company, and Seaweed Creations, which she does like custom embroidery and hats. And so if you need anything, logos, pretty much anything, she can do all that. But her cookies are amazing. You kind of pick out a bunch of cookies. Like if you go to a microbrewery and you can't decide what beer you want, instead of getting a big beer, you get like 4 little beers. So she does that with the cookies. And you pick out your favorite kinds and puts them in a box, and they're delicious.
When we were talking before the show started, that would be such a great little gift for people to give around Christmas time, whether it's business gifts for clients or whatever. So if you are looking for a unique local homemade gift, that would be an amazing one. So
if you need cookies,
we'll tag her on the story too. Yeah. So well, thank you so much for coming in today, Brayden. It was a blast chatting with you as always. Have a lot of fun with you. And
if you need a
I'm
website,
excited.
Use True North.
Oh,
and if you need a custom home,
I was literally that was where I was going, and you interrupted me.
I beat you to it.
I was gonna say, if you really want a great design, I got a guy.
Yeah, check us out. We're on Facebook under Bridgewater Consulting. I think it's Bridgewater Consulting Lincoln, because there's another one on the East Coast somewhere. And then if you want to check out our website, it's Bridgewater Consulting NE as in Nebraska.com.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
See you next week.